Before we get into this video, I really needed to give you some context around why I am sharing my deepest, darkest secrets with you from my journal. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would I be doing that? If you have been a parent before, or you've had kids before, you know, and you've been to someone like a pediatric chiropractor or a pediatric kinesiologist, especially a kinesiologist, you'll know that energy and negative beliefs can live in your body and can be passed on to your children. It doesn't mean it's wrapped up in a little bow with the words that say, I am not enough, but there's an energetic match to the specific thought that you're thinking that you then pass on to someone who's growing inside you. Like, as a female especially, it's our responsibility where we can, and once we know better, to unearth and reflect on these things and try to heal them as best we can before we fall pregnant. I really do think that is, as women, that is our responsibility. And this is the reason why I'm such an advocate of journaling, because if you went to a practitioner and they asked you, what's the relationship to your mum, or what's the incident that happened when you were, last year for you that was so big for you, or when you were 5, whatever it might be. If you don't know, you can't help them help you, right? They need to make some sense of what's going on, what they can find in your body, and then what actually makes sense in terms of, your own memories or your experience, your interpretation of your life. So with that in mind, now when you watch the rest of this video, you'll understand why I think it is so important and why I've journaled and why I've shared with you this very, very important point, because it may seem from the outset like it doesn't have anything to do with pregnancy, but for me it has everything to do with pregnancy. So I hope that you, with this pre-frame in mind, I hope you really enjoy and take away what this means for you and what you might substitute my negative belief with. Anyway, enjoy. So I wanted to keep the conversation going, kind of update you around where I'm at with my ambition to fall pregnant this year. And a really big part of having something happen in your real life world is to find the root cause of why it's not happening kind of in your mindset. And people will probably think me saying that means that I haven't been able to fall pregnant and that I've actually been trying to fall pregnant, but it's been the opposite. So I've been trying really hard not to fall pregnant. And everyone keeps saying, when are you going to have another baby? When are you going to have another baby? And it's like, I just kept saying I wasn't ready. And I didn't really understand why. Physically, I wasn't ready initially because I really wanted to feel like strong and fit again, and just well again before I started to embark on another 2-year journey, because I planned to breastfeed as well. And just the whole first year of having a child can be really tough. I'm not going to say is really tough, but can be really tough. I think most people experience it that way. And I want to be as prepared as I possibly can be. And I literally have my journal in front of me because I just thought that for me, journaling is a massive part of my life and helps me really understand my own mindset around things. But it's a really good example of, what's been going on for me and how you don't really understand until you actually sit down and you start writing in your journal. Like, there are things I would have never ever connected unless I wrote them down in my journal. Like, I'll be sitting in my journal so many times. There are so many times I do this where I just start writing and then I literally sit there, and as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, that's why I feel like that when this happens, or that's why, that's why I've always thought this about that situation or this person, or that's why I get triggered around that. Or it's just, there's so many like revelations that happen. I always call them revelations. I'm like, oh, I just had another revelation. And it's when I really connect dots with things that have happened for me in my past and the way that I think and feel about things now. And for me, I think I was a little bit traumatized by my last pregnancy. I was sick the whole way through, and pregnancy for me coincidentally also was a time, because I was so sick, where I basically had to choose between pregnancy and like kind of looking after myself and my baby and working. And I couldn't really do both. I just couldn't. I was so sick I couldn't do both. So I basically sacrificed all of the work and all the momentum that I had gained, all this financial setup that I had organized for myself with a new job that I was about to have. And I basically had to make a decision where it was like either stay pregnant or start this new job, which I knew was going to be financially really great for me. But it didn't work out that way. And I will be honest with you, I'm so glad that it worked out that way, because that was probably a 6-month period where I started to deter from all this stuff I've been doing for the last decade, all this stuff around hormones and nutrition and training and helping women live their best lives. And so it was a little bit of a sticky situation for me where I was like, you know what, it's just this hasn't given me, I haven't been able to build this business into what I thought it was going to be, because I literally started what is now FlowFit. I started in 2015 and I envisioned exactly what I'm doing today. But I think just such a big block to that was kind of my mindset around it. So I literally wanted to share with you what's in my journal. So my word for 2022, which is this year already, oh my gosh, is WELLth. I'd not spelt the way you would normally spell wealth. It's actually spelled WELLTH, and it's more about having a balanced relationship to money. I'm literally like reading it as I go. But money's been a thing that's been stopping me from falling pregnant. Like, I thought it was the fact that I thought that I was not ready, but actually it's money. Because up until recently, I realized that the belief of having another baby would set me back, and it would stop my progress with FlowFit. And honestly, that's been so tough because that mindset's been a struggle, because I know how much I love FlowFit. I'm so driven. I know this is my life's work. I know this is exactly where I'm meant to be, and this is the contribution I'm meant to make in the world. I know that. And so a big part of me is really scared that I'm not going to be able to do that. And for me, and I know a lot of you will relate to this, it's like either be a good mum or be good at my work. Like, I'm sure you can sit there if you're a parent, if you're a mom, and go, I 100% know what that means, especially if you're a working mom and you're somebody just who's driven. So that's how I've been feeling. And I love Billy. I love her so much, like a stupid amount. And I love being a mom, but I equally love my life's work. And it's so important to me to maintain that momentum that I've been building, to be able to continue to do this, because I don't feel I would feel whole if I had to give that up right now. So I've been currently working through this belief, and at the moment, everything that I journal is all about kind of pulling apart this relationship, this connection that I have between, what having a baby will mean for me in terms of being able to continue with FlowFit, and to be able to be there. I want to be present in my business. I don't want to just like set everything up, automate everything, and then I'm not like there. I hate doing that. Like when I buy like programs and things like that, I want to have access to the person who created it. I'm paying for them because they're the ones who are the expert. So the community itself is so amazing, and everybody helps everybody within the community. And I know it's a lot of pressure to put on myself, be like, I'm the be all and end all. And if I don't answer a question, or if I'm not with somebody every single step of the way, like, I know it's unrealistic to think that I'll be there every single step of the way. Like, I will be there and I want to be there, but I also want to be present in the community, present in your FlowFit journey. But I also want to be present as a mom and be present with my time with Billy and with my family, with Gus as well. So that's like been a really big like mindset puzzle that I've been trying to work out. And I just wanted to be able to be present in both. And I really do feel like it's up to me now to prove to myself that I can have both. And it might not look exactly how I think it's meant to look, but I know I can have both. And I know I'm really close to understanding this whole mindset shift and being able to kind of show myself that it's possible. And I think the thing that I think of, the situation that makes me think of it is like, and this is a big thing around like not doing enough, not having enough, it's pretty much like not doing enough. And it's like, I look at myself and I think, if I'm playing with Billy one-on-one and I'm fully present, and then on my phone I see someone like join the community, I see someone sign up for FlowFit, I think like my values and my morals and my hard work ethic feels like in that moment, well, you don't deserve that. Like, you don't deserve for that to be a reality for you, because you're not working hard in that moment. So why should somebody sign up in that moment when you're just sitting around playing with Billy? Like, there's something about that exact situation that makes me feel like I don't deserve it. Like, I shouldn't be just like hanging out and playing with Billy to deserve that moment. But like, it's crazy because I know how many years I've worked for this. I know all of the minutes and the moments and all of the time that I spent studying and putting all these things together and improving my knowledge and helping people and all the hard work I've put in for so many years, for a decade, over a decade now. So it's kind of, yes, that moment in isolation does, I'm still having trouble with just accepting that as a moment, because that's the reality of being able to have both. That moment needs to happen for me to be able to have both, to be able to be present in my business and be present as a mum. But, I have to reframe the way I think about that. It's not just that moment that's defining, I didn't do any hard work and someone just signs up, or there you go, well, I'm some, greedy person that all I want is money. That's not what it's about. It's about the fact that I'm providing a service. I've put my heart and soul into this. I'm still there. I'm still always in the Facebook community. I'm still there every part of the way, every step of the way. I do fortnightly calls with the FlowFit girls all the time. But I think it's about, it's a matter of changing my own mindset around it. And now I'm starting to see money as a token of gratitude. And by flipping my mindset around that as a token of gratitude, I ask myself, are people grateful for FlowFit? Hell yes. I know for a fact that people attribute their life, the amazingness and the high quality of their life right now, the goodness in their life right now to me. I know that that's a reality, which is the best feeling in the world. Obviously, that's why I do what I do. So I know that there are definitely people who are grateful. And so it's hard to sometimes accept all this money when you've had these money blocks as a kid where, money doesn't grow on trees is what you hear, and money is the root of all evil. And you have this stereotype of people who earn money who are greedy and, who think they're better than everybody else. And there's this stereotype that goes along with it. And so it's hard to be, to sort of change that perspective to still, like I said, have both. And the only real way that I can do that is if I really change my mindset around money. And I know that this seems so unrelated to pregnancy, but I know for me that this makes total sense. And I know that, a fear that I have is that when I do fall pregnant, if I'm as sick as I was when I was pregnant with Billy, for the whole 9 months, I can't do hardly anything because I feel so sick every single day, is what I've done enough? And I think that that's my fear around it, is that it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And so I think what I need to be changing and looking at and focusing on, which I really am trying hard to do, is accepting that at every moment, I'm always doing my best. And my best is always good enough. And so that, I think, has really been the tricky thing. I've always had high expectations of myself. I just always have, that's just me. So it's just been a really big shift, and I'm doing the work. All of my journaling is centered around my energy with my money. All the stuff that I do with my kinesiologist, my life coach is working on, my enoughness, being enough and being okay that my best is enough. And realizing that I'm deserving of all the money that I make through FlowFit. I think the biggest shift for me so far is seeing that, that money equals gratitude. And if I can look at money equals gratitude, then that is something that I can accept. It's so funny because in FlowFit, I always tell the girls, the whole message behind FlowFit is how to do less and achieve more. And it's so ironic because I think the message that the universe is trying to send me right now is do less, and in terms of work, I've done the work, but do less and achieve more. And I think that sort of translates financially. So I think I have to accept that it'll be enough. And I know that as soon as I sort of crack my mindset on this whole thing with with WELLth, with my relationship with money, I know I'll fall pregnant like that. And like I said, I've actually been the one putting it off. I don't think I'll have a problem falling pregnant. I mean, you guys will be here with the journey, on the journey with me if I do have any troubles. But yeah, I'm showing you, this is all the pieces that I'm putting together to be prepared to fall pregnant. And I think emotionally is just such a big deal, because that has been the biggest block to me wanting to fall pregnant. It's been really hard for me to want another kid, not because I don't absolutely love Billy to pieces, but because this has been a really tough struggle with this, parent work balance. So I wanted to share that. I know that will resonate with a lot of you, especially who are working moms, who are finding it really tricky, and who work from home. That's the trickiest part, because, you know, especially when you work for yourself, there's always more that you can do. So I'm excited for this piece of the puzzle. I actually love doing the work. Like I love this kind of a challenge, this kind of personal like transformation, like mindset challenge. So I look forward to updating you on the next time.